since the Jewish people start their Bible over every year on Rosh Hashanah, I wanted to do the same because I figured we have Christ, we have the Messiah, we have the Spirit of God within us. We should certainly read through our Bible over and over and over so we can understand God, His ways, and when it's Him talking to us versus someone else. So important. So I'm going to go to my blog, one of my blogs, and do my daily meditation. And I have also a whole bunch of outstanding, verbal Bible reading on my YouTube page as well, which I have on my blog as well. I've been meditating in Genesis chapter 2, and I noticed something that just confirmed that it just confirms that God is awesome and He brings everything together, even though we don't see it. And certainly if we're reading the regular Bible and we're not going back to the Greek or the Hebrew, we're missing so many beautiful, wonderful things that are hidden behind the text. These are the records of the heavens and the earth concerning their creation at the time that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. No shrub of the field had yet grown on the land, and no plant of the field had yet sprouted, for the Lord God had not made it rain in the land, and there was no man to work the ground. But water would come out of the ground and water the entire surface of the land. Then the Lord God formed the man out of the dust of the ground and breathed the breath of life into his nostrils, and the man became a living being. Then there's another section that I was studying on in the next chapter. And I was meditating, thinking on Eve, because God said to the woman, I will intensify your labor pains, and you will bear children in anguish. Your desire will be for your husband, yet he will rule over you. And I thought, okay, so God said at the beginning, be fruitful and multiply. So we're clearly mandated to multiply. And it wasn't until they ate of the fruit, in other words, they desired to find worldly wisdom instead of the godly wisdom of the tree of life, because that was what they chose. They chose the world over God, the material, the soulish things of the world, as opposed to the spiritual walking with God over the tree of life, which is representative of Jesus, as it says in the book of Revelation or in several other places. But anyway, so because they chose the worldly things, they had to live life by the flesh instead of by the spirit. And so they had to give birth by the flesh. This is my logic, my thinking. Okay, I'm not saying it's in any way, shape, or form some sort of doctrine, but it makes sense, especially given all the other studies that I've embarked upon. So she was going to give birth by the spirit, probably, and now she has to physically, and she has to do it through pain. And her desire will be for her husband, and he will rule over you. Obviously, that shows contention between her and her husband, and that indicates before there wasn't this contention. I mean, She got taken from his rib, his side. They were one. Then she was taken from his side. And then when they join together, they become one again, like it shows in this one is last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one shall be called woman, Isha, for she was taken from man, Ish. That's the Hebrew. This is why a man leaves his father and mother and bonds with his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Both the man and his wife were naked and felt no shame. But they were one flesh. They took the rib, they became two, but joined back as one. And then here, now they have this contention. But then it goes, Adam named his wife Eve because she was the mother of all the living. And the Lord God made clothing out of skins. So they're living in the flesh now. They weren't naked before. They were naked before. We all know that they probably didn't have clothes on, but they were covered by God. But now they have to have skins of flesh. He had to cover them with flesh of animals. The flesh of animals covered their sin, covered their nakedness. So if we look now at the Hebrew for this, start there. Now I go to look at, see, it was chapter 2, but I want to see what verse it was first. We'll start there. No, there was no man to work the ground. That was verse 5. That's annoying. And it's in Hebrew, so I can't read which one's the clothes and which one's not. It caused rain on the earth, and man was not there to cultivate the ground. This is what I noticed. Man, Adam, with Adam, the ground. Ha-Adam, ha-Adama. They both have Adam in the middle. And if you look, it's the Aleph, the Dalet, and the Mem. That's the final Mem. Unfortunately, they don't always give you the original meanings of the words, so sometimes you have to dig even further than the tools that you have. I do want to create an app. I'm in the process of trying to create an app for your phone and a website on my website that will bring the ancient names in as well and also be able to do, see more, because one of the things that frustrates me, it shows the words, it shows you in the version. I want to see it in a version. I want to see it in original Hebrew. In other words, where this Hebrew word appears throughout all of the Bible, it wouldn't change regard based on version. And there doesn't appear to be, at least not that I found, any tool that shows that I found so far. I've been going to some to find them, but all the tools I use right now do the same exact thing. I do it in Blue Letter as well. I love Blue Letter Bible, but it does the same thing, and it's not it's just not the exact same. So how can they be different? It can't be different if it's using the original Greek. I mean the original Hebrew, and for the New Testament Greek. Genesis 2. When I go to verse 5 and I break down verse 5 and I go to the same word, Lord God had not sent rain upon the earth, and there was no man. Here's the 120. I look at the Hebrew here. Same thing here. And same thing here. It's based on the ESV. I can change it to whatever one I want, and it changes the numbers. If I look at KJV and I search, 552, 526. NIV search. Okay, okay, maybe this one does do it good, but it just shows it in the NIV. That okay, I like this better. It it doesn't change with the verse no matter what one I'm using, it seems, which is awesome. That's so much better because then it's going by the original Hebrew to determine exactly where it's showing everywhere. All right, so that's 120. It was man, and man had the Aleph, the Dalet, and on my other, which one was it? Family purpose. What saith the word? On my other blog, when I go to, okay, I have a Hebrew thing here. If I look at this, I see that's what it looks like in early. It's this ox's head, and then it means strong power leader. It means leader, and it's the Aleph. It's the number one. That's the number one. Hebrew and Greek are both the only languages that have meanings to the letters. They mean something. That's how those were hieroglyphs, and they have numbers, so they add up. That's and they also have the letter. And eventually, as this it turned into our A. In the middle, you see how it looks like an A. It means L, the leader, the chief. And Dalet is here. It means door, right? So chief door, or it could mean entrance, hang, move. There's actually much, much more than just that. And then the last one was the hay, right? Wait a minute. Here, the mem. That's right, the mem. So the mem looks like water. Mem, water. Chaos, mighty, blood. It means blood. There is a YouTube channel that I watched that actually had this. Let me see which one it is. I think it's this one. Yes. I can't really show it to you because it'll slow up my entire video, but it makes it all off sync. I tried that already. But what they do show is this. There's the Dalet and the Mem, and it's the root word for this, and it means blood. And then as it goes along, and they add the Aleph in the front, it changes it to Adam, which means chief of blood. And then if you add the Hey on the end, it means ground. Chief of blood of the ground, maybe? Of the Hey looks like someone worshiping, right? The Hey is the Spirit of God. It's 5. 1. Let me see, what was D? The Dalet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 plus 4. Back to the video. M. Mem. Hold on, it's here. Mem. I've got different. Let's see, what was the Mem? 13. Well, it means 40. 40. And then the hay. The hay means 5. 5. Grace, right? Grace. Aleph, 4, which means complete. Mem, 40, and 5. Okay. Then I went to Genesis 3. Let's change it to Hebrew first so we can see it in the Hebrew first. Genesis 3. I'm trying to remember what verse that was at. I think it was 20. And his wife Eve, right? One. And called Adam the name his wife Eve, because she was the mother of all living. The hay. That's the chet. But it says hay, isn't that? It's pronounced hay, but it's a chet. Um, skins. Okay. But if I go to the Greek, so I just want to click on this verse here. If I click on this verse, it'll give it to me in more of a breakdown. Slower.